Okay, you made it to college. It's this amazing, brand new chapter in your life. But let's be real, between all the new freedom and all the new faces, it can feel a little overwhelming, right? Like you're kind of lost. So today, we're going to break down a game plan to help you navigate all that and really start tapping into your full potential right from the get go.
You're surrounded by new people, new classes, new freedoms. It's this crazy mix of excitement and, let's be honest, a whole lot of pressure. It is completely normal to feel a bit lost in the shuffle. So, how do you find your footing? How do you actually start moving forward instead of just, treading water?
Well, what if you had a secret weapon? A kind of personal GPS for your entire college journey. That is exactly what self-awareness is. And this isn't about some endless navel-gazing exercise. It's about giving yourself a practical, powerful tool to understand who you are and where you want to go. All right, let's dive into part one. We're calling this your college secret weapon. Okay, so why is this actually a game changer? I can almost hear you thinking, look, I've got papers to write, labs to finish. I do not have time for all this self-reflection stuff. But trust me, putting in a little time on this now, it pays off in massive ways throughout your entire college experience and way, way beyond. So why does it matter so much? Well, first off, when you really know your strengths, you can pick a major or even a career where you're not just going to survive, you're going to thrive. It also builds this deep, real self-confidence. It helps you build much stronger relationships because you actually know how to communicate your needs. And you know what? When challenges pop up, and they will, you'll be so much better at tackling them head on. And look, we're not talking about some tiny little improvements here. This is about giving yourself a huge boost in the areas that matter most. We're talking about getting crystal clear on your future, feeling genuinely confident in what you can do, and building those relationships that are going to be your support system. It's the foundation for everything else. Okay, that brings us right to part two, your self-discovery toolkit. This is the how-to part with real, practical steps you can start using, like today. So we've broken this toolkit down into 3 really simple steps to make it easy to remember. First, you're going to look inward to kind of map out your own personal landscape. Then you'll look outward to get a bigger picture. And finally, you'll take all that info and use it to plan your growth. Simple, right? Let's kick things off with step 1. So looking inward, it all starts by celebrating your past wins. Seriously, think about times you felt super proud of something you did. What skills were you using? It's totally worth grabbing a notebook and just jotting them down. Another really cool tool can be a personality test. You've probably heard of things like Myers-Briggs or the Big Five. They can be a really interesting jumping-off point for thinking about your natural tendencies. But, and this is a big but, here's a super important piece of advice. These tests are not your destiny. They are not foolproof. Think of them more like a conversation starter with yourself, a way to get you thinking. Please do not let some 4-letter acronym put you in a box. You got to take them with a grain of salt. All right, step 2, looking outward. And yeah, this one takes a little bit of courage. First, you have to be really honest with yourself about the stuff you struggle with. And hey, this isn't about beating yourself up. It's about finding those areas where you have an awesome opportunity to grow. And then, go ask for feedback. Seriously, talk to a professor you respect, a good friend, maybe a family member. Ask them straight up, hey, what do you see as my strengths, and where do you think I could improve? And all that amazing insight leads us straight to step 3, plan your growth. This is where the magic happens, where you turn all that thinking into doing. Once you know what you want to get better at, you can set what are called SMART goals. And you absolutely have to remember you are not in this alone. Your campus is literally packed with resources just waiting to help you. So what the heck is a SMART goal? It's just a simple framework to make sure your goals are actually effective. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So instead of a super vague goal like, I need to get better at public speaking, a SMART goal sounds more like, okay, I am going to volunteer to give 1 presentation in my history class before the end of this semester. You see the difference? It's a clear target you can actually aim for. And remember that support system I mentioned? It's real. If you're feeling lost about what career fits you, you go to career counseling. Need help picking the right classes? That's what academic advising is for. Drowning in a tough subject? Tutoring services are your lifeline. Want to build those leadership skills? Go join a student org. The big takeaway here is so simple. You do not have to figure all this out by yourself. Help is there for the taking. And that brings us to our final part 3. Because all of these tools, all these steps, they're all powered by one big overarching idea: embracing what's called the growth mindset.
Yeah, this chart just says it all, doesn't it? If you have a fixed mindset, you kind of believe your talents are what they are. They're set in stone. So you avoid challenges because you're terrified of failing and looking bad. But if you have a growth mindset, you believe your abilities can be developed, through practice and hard work. You actually see challenges as opportunities to learn and get better. This one shift in thinking, it is without a doubt the most powerful change you can make.
And that brings us to this really powerful final thought. What we're talking about here isn't just about surviving the next 4 years. It's about kicking off a lifelong journey of personal growth. Seriously, the investment you make in understanding yourself right now, it's going to pay you back for the rest of your life.
So, here you are. You're standing at the very beginning of this incredible journey. The question isn't just what major you'll pick or what job you'll get. The real question is this: who will you choose to become? The power to answer that, it's all in your hands. Thanks for tuning in to The Explainer.